We'll pick off a question here from Will. It says, how much more is Michigan going to pass with a healthy Ronnie Bell compared to the end of last year? And that shouldn't be discounted. Ronnie Bell's almost like a transfer portal addition.
He kind of is. Yeah. I mean, you honestly, at the end of last year with how good that offense was, they're scoring 40 points a game throughout the year. And it's like they didn't have their quote unquote best receiver. You know, you forget about it a little bit. Now, will they pass more just because of that? I don't know if it's just because of Ronnie Bell, because that wide receiver room is actually pretty loaded. To be honest, you've got Roman Wilson, you've got Cornelius Johnson. You're adding a Darius Clemens as a freshman that's going to be a stud. You're adding a Marion Walker. You've got AJ Henning, who's going to flip-flop between running back a little bit. He's going to play the wide back position and get out in the slot. And then so is Donovan Edwards is going to get out in the slot. So the reason why I'd say that they're going to pass more is not just because of Ronnie Bell, but it's because of all those weapons. And you combine that with Matt Weiss being the quarterback's coach as now the calling plays as the offensive coordinator. Yeah, they're going to throw the ball a little bit more.
There were a couple of Ohio State connections that were asked of Jim Harbaugh. He didn't come out and initiate them, but one in particular, I'm sure you've caught a backlash on it and commented because I actually went back after I heard the close of Jim Harbaugh's side session. So it was pretty mundane 50 minutes until the last like 90 seconds. Then all of a sudden somebody hit him with, the reference to some people are standing on third base. They think they hit a triple. Yep. Was that referencing Ryan Day? Well, he was first asked about his relationship with Ryan Day. He didn't have much to say at all, except we were at the Heisman Trophy presentation. We were cordial. And his team wants to beat my team. My team wants to beat his team. So that gave us next to nothing, except for maybe we can read into, there's no relationship or not a good one. And then, of course, then the follow-up to what was stated at the end of the news conference following the win over Ohio State. I went back and watched it just to make sure. And just based on the questioning and the comments prior to that comment, you knew exactly what and who he was talking about, because just prior to that, he was talking about all the Ohio State rhetoric about what they were going to do to Michigan. Well, it obviously played right into it. So I just found it kind of funny that he gets hit with that again, has a big grin kind of come across his face, as no comment, and bolts.
Yeah. I think, isn't that what you want the Ohio State and the Michigan coach to be doing to each other? That's what makes it great, and I think it's perfect. Can they be civil? Is it the same with Jim Harbaugh and Mel Tucker? They'll shake hands and probably have a little small talk, but they shouldn't be best friends. I think that goes against everything that the rivalry is for, So I love it, honestly. And I think Jim Harbaugh has gotten a little bit petty now that he finally beat Ohio State. And there's a little bit of like, I can do that type of thing. I'm going to go out and we're going to do it again type of situation. So, to me, there's like a little bit of an edge to Jim Harbaugh now that's almost going back to like 2015 or San Francisco 49ers Jim Harbaugh, that as a Michigan fan, you should love. That's the best Harbaugh that you can get as a coach. It's when he's a weirdo and like stirring the pot and all in it. Like, that's when he's at his best. It's a bad thing, I think, if he goes into the shadows a little bit.
And then the other comment was about NIL and Michigan fans that have been disgruntled about the NIL situation at Michigan and the lack of initiative, or assumed the lack of initiative based on what's happening on the surface. Jim Harbaugh lays out very much that this is a great destination for NIL. We don't focus on it, but it's a great destination. It takes care of itself. They're focused on football. They reap the benefits of that. And then Ohio State's brought up specifically about the $13 million comment from Ryan Day of maintaining his roster. And Jim Harbaugh says, well, I think we're Michigan. We could double that.
Yeah. And I think that's like, if we're being honest, I think that's Jim Harbaugh doing a Nick Saban cryptic message to the boosters of, hey, let's double those checks that you're writing right now, And I think that he's not wrong, first of all. Why why not? Why couldn't Michigan? They've got a huge alumni base. But I think it was he's all in on NIL and getting things going, and I think his response there was more so, I want to get these guys paid. I want to get it going. I want to be able to compete with Ohio State. Even if it's in a different, like, not pay for play type scenario, I think he still wants to be competitive, and he wanted to show the world like he's willing to do all that right now.